Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MFFL Nation podcast. I'm here today with my co-host, Amir Zalter. Amir, how's it going, bro?
It's chilling.
So, I'm just going to get this out here. The Mavs suck right now. When you look at our offense, we're playing up great amount of points. We have one of the highest offensive ratings in the NBA, but you're not going to do anything when you have the lowest. You're not going to win basketball games, and that's really where we're struggling at right now. And it sucks to see. We'll get more into depth about it, but I think a lot of it is around Jason Kidd, but not all of it. I think some of it has to do with players. So, what's your opinion on how the Mavs have been playing since All-Star break?
Okay, so honestly, I'm not really surprised by anything. I think saying that we suck is an overreaction. If you look at the 5 games that Kyrie and Luka played together, we're 1-4 in those games, right? On paper, that's terrible. If you look at the 4 games, I'm not saying that those were winnable games. All 4 of them we should have won, I'd argue. Which was right, Lakers, Timberwolves, the Pacers won, and then what was the other one?
The pace. We lost to someone before All-Star break.
Doesn't matter.
The
Yeah, but all
King.
Kings. All 4 of those games were extremely close, and it all had to do with the final 2 minutes, the plays we were drawing up, and that was the main thing. And the other thing is, of course, the defense. Where again we'll talk about Kidd a little bit later, but yeah, it's just something that we need to work on. Hopefully Maxey coming back will help in the future, but again, it's just an adjustment period. Losing close games like this, I'm not really concerned. At the end of the day, when we're at our best, which we've seen it in stretches of all these games, of every single one of these games, I think have the potential as the best team in the league, which you can't say about a lot of teams. Hey, did you see the first half against the Lakers? I know they were breaking a lot of shots, but the way we were playing was pretty impressive. So at the end of the day,
we also weren't missing.
What?
We were also missing everything. Making everything in the first half, missing everything in the second.
I think the way we're playing is good, but it's just work needs to be done on defense. So defense in 2-minute situations, that's the big thing. So I'm not really too concerned about it because we saw those things coming in. They weren't very different. We had those problems at the start of the year, and getting rid of Dodo and Dinwiddie, and we knew that those are going to be the problems. And it is what it is. Obviously, you don't like 1-4, but I'm not that surprised.
I think, listen, my biggest frustration that is when you look at other teams in the NBA, take the Celtics, for example. They have a set rotation of their best players. The other guys only play if there's an injury. But the Mavs, Jason Kidd is just wanting to experiment. In the second game for Justin Holiday, he's a starter? When you have a guy like Josh Green that has been working his ass off for the whole season, you start Justin Holiday. He's not an all-star. He's a solid defender. He's a 3-and-D guy. But when you have Josh Green, who's been doing great all year long, you refuse to start him, and then you only play him 16 minutes in the Lakers game. That just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever, and there needs to be ramifications towards that because Josh Green deserves double 16 minutes, in my own opinion. And look at Christian Wood, 20 minutes against the Lakers. He's our third most efficient offensive scorer. And for the fact that Christian Wood is sometimes not closing games and Dwight Powell is, I mean, does Jason Kidd have a personal vendetta for Wood? Does Dwight Powell have something on Jason Kidd that could just end his career? We don't know. Listen, I love DP, but he's a 10 to 15 minute player in the NBA. He should not be exceeding 20 minutes a game. He doesn't make that big of an effect.
Yeah, and I think the I actually agree with you there. The only thing I would say two things. One, I do think Justin Holiday warranted the start, but the fact that Josh Green only played 68 minutes is just ridiculous. Especially in because I actually do like Josh Green as like him and Timmy coming off the bench together, just providing a lot of scoring. He'll help out with the defense at the second unit. And I think that having Bullock and Holiday together with Luke and Kyrie is actually solid. So I'm not really too mad about that. But the minutes thing and just the experimentation, like I get that our roster is different now, but like it seems in some ways that, especially with a lot of the things that Kid has been saying to the media, which I know he just kind of says whatever, it's the media, so we can't really trust it. But
I mean, he said he was watching the games.
yeah, that's kind of weird. That's a weird thing for a coach to say.
Don't
It
say
just
that as a
seems,
coach.
and right, Wood he left early in the last game, right? It just seems like Coach Kidd has kind of lost the locker room a little bit, at least from the outside looking in. Obviously, we can't know. It seems that for the most part, the players are getting along pretty well. It seems like Wood, Kyrie, Luca, the new guys, Timmy. Like it seems like they're fine, but it just seems like they don't really trust Kidd, which would also explain all these last minute situations where we're just forcing ourselves into ISOs and step back threes, right? And it's frustrating because those aren't high percentage shots, right? If you have a competent coach, you're going to drop a good play and you're going to go win the game. And we've had countless games this year that have just
We've
been
had,
lost off the last few seconds, just
we've had,
indecision, just not knowing what to do out there, not having a proper hierarchy, kind of like you said with this team, which is weird because I think the guys should be able, like, just I'd say the fans could create a hierarchy for this team better than Kid has, with Kid playing with the minutes so much, no one knows their true role.
and that's a thing. If, like I said, if you look at the better NBA teams, these guys have set rules. They have set rotations. They have usually like a certain amount of minutes that they'll average like consistently throughout games. And it feels like Kid is constantly changing that up outside of Luca and Kyrie. You know, you'll see Christian Wood play 15 minutes some games and see him play 32 the next. So it's really bipolar and inconsistent, and that's going to be something that needs to be fixed. We don't have much time. We're the 7th seed, and when you look at our schedule, it doesn't get
We
much
already have more losses than last year.
already. And our upcoming games, you got Sixers, you got the new Suns.
What a game that's going to be.
You have the Grizzlies like 3 times again for the rest of the season. You got the Lakers again. You never know what can happen with Lakers. Those are just one of those teams that can just gut out a win. Hawks again, I think. Kings, Bulls. I mean, those are all teams that can come out and win, regardless of how the Mavs play. But it's really just defense, and that's why I said I blame Kidd a lot. But some of it comes down to players and how tough and how badly they want it on the defensive side, and it just seems like there's no grit. Dwight Powell, he's like a cone for these players in the NBA. He's a literal workout cone for some of these guys. And, Christian Wood, he's weak. He blocks shots. Max, he's not a 7-footer, but he's a great perimeter defender for us. He blocks shots. And then I just don't understand what Kid's vendetta for JaVale McGee is, because he could come be an 8 to 10 minute guy. He's going to get you rebounds.
I don't think JaVale should be playing, actually, but
I think JaVale McGee is worse than Dwight Powell.
Yes. Look, I think that there's 2 issues. The first thing is that I think I checked before the pod. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure we are dead last in rebounds across the league, which is
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which is unacceptable. Like, the fact is that, like, individually, I think it's just Luca and Wood getting big rebounding numbers. We don't have a center presence that can get us boards and that can protect the rim. Now, I think Maxey could help with the protecting the rim part a little bit, but it's not. I don't think it'll be enough.
And you know what the problem is? If you put Dwight, Maxey, and Christian Wood on another team, any other team in the NBA, they are not playing at the 5. They are a power forward. Maxey maybe a small forward in a big lineup. These guys are out here guarding 7-footers. They're not.
And especially if you look at all the best teams in the league, they all have a center or centers that can create plays for themselves, that can defend, that are they can grab a lot of rebounds. We could just go down the list, whether that's Ayton, whether that's Al Horford for the Celtics, Robert
And
Williams,
Robert Williams, yeah.
whether that's Jokic for the Nuggets, whether that's I'd say the
Embiid,
Clippers maybe are the exception. They have Zubats, but they play small ball most of the time.
Embiid,
Embiid, right? You got
Mark,
Mobley, and Jared Allen for the
and
Cavaliers.
that's why the Cavs have been successful. That's why the Celtics have been successful. Hell, look at the Knicks. The Knicks are beating the
Shout out JB
30.
by the way. He's been balling.
But
He's shooting like over 40% from three as of right now.
It's just painful to watch. I will give Timmy and Reggie some credit. Their shooting has gone better. I think teams are starting to become more aware of how big of a threat Josh Green is from shooting, and I think he doesn't get as many reps now because he's not like an off the dribble shooter. He's more of a catch and shoot. So,
he's improved in that a lot though. Actually, he's much better than last year.
No, I think Josh Green in 2 years is going to be a rank below All-Star. I think his highest tier he can reach, and I think he will reach, is like a Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, again, the offense is not the problem. It's just defense, whether that's coaching or effort, or especially just in the paint, right? Just looking at any Mavs game. Why did the Lakers come back? It's because they stopped settling for threes. They just attacked the rim. If you look at the Pacers, it was just spacing with threes and then just attacking wide open lanes to get easy dunks, easy layups. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's an exhibition out there. And I'm not saying that this isn't a trend this year, as the scoring has gone to an all-time high. We saw the Clippers Kings the other day, right? 176, 175, right? But if you want to be an elite team in the league, you got to be able to defend. That's just a given.
Especially in the West. I mean, the West is just, there's so many teams there. I mean, if you look at the Mavs, they have a really good team, and we're sitting at 7 right now. And to be honest, if you look at my tweets throughout the whole year, I've never once mentioned the play-in until yesterday, because I genuinely think we could become a play-in team. The way the season is trending, okay, let's be honest with ourselves. Do you see the Mavs beating Philly and the Suns?
No.
No. I don't even know if I see them winning one game, sadly. I really don't. And that's to the point where...
Okay. I don't know about that. Look, at the end of the day, on our day, we're still a great team. The problem is we just haven't been able to put it together right now. Again, I think this is a little bit of a... Look, it's in a little bit of an overreaction. It's not that much that needs to be changed. Our offense is incredible. That'll beat a lot of teams.
Okay, first of all, our offense in the first 44 minutes is really good. The last 4 minutes suck. I mean, did you watch the game last night? Did you not see Tim Hardaway airball a 3? I mean, Luka had a rebound. He had the shot for an easy putback over Turner. Turner didn't even jump, and he passes it to Kyrie. Kyrie gets blocked. Kyrie, I don't know what his shooting problems are. He shot 2 for 14 the last 2 games, so he was in a minor slump. Hopefully he fixes that tomorrow, because the bright lights are on us tomorrow. TNT, baby. But there's just so many problems that I see right now that are really concerning. If we are in the play-in, I think we win. But the top 6 in the West. You got to earn that, because look, the Warriors are 5th seed, and that's without Steph. And Steph's
coming back soon as well.
Steph is coming back soon. The
KD's back tonight.
Suns got KD. The Clippers. I don't know. The Clippers are on a losing streak. They haven't been playing too well. Anthony Edwards killed them last night. But the Kings are 5.5 games ahead of the Mavs now. And it's funny because if you look at it, right before All-Star break, if we had won that second game, we would have been the 3rd seed. But, that was the Luka and Kyrie debut. It was also interesting because I thought Kyrie, when he played with no Luka those 3 games, Mavs looked unreal.
Yeah, we looked great.
Well, we looked unbelievable. We beat Kawhi and Paul George, and then we beat Sabonis and Fox. And we should have won the second game with Luka. It's just late game situations, like you said. We had the Kings late game, we had Pacers late game, we had Lakers late game. So Timberwolves.
Yeah, and I think that this has been a theme all year long. Like, I think I looked back yesterday on all 31 losses that we have. It was before the Pacers game, so it was 30 at the time. And it was 10 of them were above 10 points, I believe. That was the lead. But it was not I don't think we lost almost any game. There were barely any blowouts. There were maybe 2. And then 10 of the games were between 5 and 10 points. And then, which included, I think, an overtime or 2. And then 10 of the games were 5 points or less that we lost.
I could tell you my most painful games as a Mav fan this year. I will go off with the season opener where we were up by 20 and we let Damian freaking Lee hit a game winner. Terrible draw by J Kidd for the win. I could go with the OKC game where we blew the lead. I will go with the Bucks game where we missed 5 straight free throws at the end of the game. Tim Hardaway went 0 for 3 from the line on a 3-point foul, and Dorian Finney-Smith missed 2 free throws. And I will go with the Lakers game. Hell, I could go. The Pacers are a 6th. That game was just painful to watch. We're down by 11. We get the lead. We blow it again because Christian Wood makes 3 straight stupid plays that blow the game. Another thing I want to mention that we could talk about is, 2 things frustrating me about last night at the end of the game. One, Luka Doncic has 39 points. Kyrie's shooting one of his off nights. He has 16 points, I think. And instead of giving Luka the ball where he's having a great night, 39 points, it's his birthday. He wants to get the birthday shot. You let Kyrie Irving shoot a step back 3. That, there's no logic in that. And secondly, what I want to say is that Jason Kidd isn't drawing up plays. He's drawing out of bounds plays. He's getting the play ready, like a little screen action for the inbound, and then it's just go to work. There's no ball movement whatsoever once the ball's inbounded in these game situations. It's Luka shoot a step back, or as we saw last night, Kyrie shoot a step back. There needs to be a screen. There needs to be a backdoor cut. There needs to be something, but it doesn't work when you just tell the player, get the ball and make a shot.
Jason Kidd is showing to be the let him cook coach right now, which is not. They're not cooking.
And it was painful. It was painful to see Rick Carlisle beat us
with inferior players too. Look, Tyrese Halliburton's great, but come on. I think the thing is, I think we have the difference is that I think we actually have the personnel. We have good players. That's not the problem anymore. The problem is putting it together right now. I think in the past, the problem was that our ceiling wasn't high enough. I think we've shown on multiple occasions that with this group, our ceiling is sky high. The problem is that we're not realizing that for enough of games, and we're not realizing it at the end of games. So if we start doing that, we're going to rack up a lot of wins. But as of right now, these guys haven't played a ton together, and there's no identity yet. A lot of the guys that provide a lot of the identity on this team, whether that was Brunson, whether that was Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, brought us sort of locker room presence. Now it's Theo Pinson who's actually getting minutes, but he's the only really big culture guy. Maybe I guess Cleveland and Powell a little bit because they've been around for a while, but
definitely Powell.
but it's not the same. You can tell that it's not the same camaraderie that was there. If you remember in the bubble, there was a lot of camaraderie on the team. Even for last year's playoff run, you could tell the guys just really loved playing with each other. And now, I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't support each other, but the chemistry just isn't there right now. And you could see that with the Timberwolves game, right? Luka and Kyrie just can't. They keep.
That was
I don't
bad.
know. They're not. They're not. They haven't worked it out yet.
I think, well, I would beg to differ. I think they've worked it out, but it's the late game situations where it's like, if Kyrie has the ball, is he thinking Luka's going to get mad if I shoot this for the game? This is his team. Luka's thinking, is Kyrie going to get mad? He's supposed to be the second star here with me, and he's not getting the final shot. So it's like, I mean, I think that's really what defined that Timberwolves loss was like.
I don't know. Instead, how about Jason Kidd draws up a play so we get the best shot available
That was
instead
not
of
on
just
Jason.
shooting?
That game was not on Jason. That was on Luka and Kyrie. Oh, and
I'm saying the Pacers won.
Were you watching the game last night?
No, I wasn't watching.
There was about a minute 30 left. We're down by 2. And we get the ball and we push down the floor. Kyrie does this little spin. He moves Miles Turner so much to where it is the most wide open shot that an NBA player could ask for in the mid-range. And he had it ready to shoot and just like passed it. I'm like, Kai, like, we brought you here for offense, to score, to be another clutch player in late game situations. You can't overthink it. You got to realize at some point you're that guy. Like, Luka wants you to shoot it.
Yeah, and I think Kyrie brought this up in his post game presser. How he's been. I think he said he talked to his dad after the game, and how his dad gave him some criticism about how he's being too hard on himself. He's just not. And you can kind of see it when he played. You see, like, with that play, right? Based on the way you described it, he was having an off night. He just didn't have the confidence to take it, which is not something you usually hear from like a 10-year NBA vet, but especially with someone at Kyrie's caliber. But I think it's a little bit of a mental thing for this team. It's just it's compounding, and it's a compounding effect. You can tell by the way the players reacted on Twitter that they're frustrated with the situation. You can tell by the way they reacted in the pressers that Kidd is frustrated. Luke and Kyrie are frustrated. The other guys on the team are frustrated. And this is also the first time in a long time that the Mavs have had this national attention on us, the pressure that Luka isn't used to, that Kyrie is used to, but just the rest of the guys, Kyrie's not used to having the pressure on him. The media is following him all the time. He's been on the Celtics, the Cavs with LeBron, and the Nets with KD.
I think Kyrie's pretty good with the media. He's not really active on social media. So, I mean, look.
He actually tweeted out the thing today, which people misinterpreted.
Kyrie has tweeted that before.
I know. It's not. I know. It wasn't about that.
Top wood, berry water. It's a slogan he likes to use or a quote, but
it's like a reference to like a book, I think.
Yeah. So, look, I'm going to give a hot take, and I want to see what you think. I think that if the Dallas Mavericks somehow don't make the playoffs, they'll make the playoffs. So I'm going to give another side to this. If the Mavericks lose in the first round, I could really see Jason Kidd getting fired. My main question about that is, if Kidd gets fired, does that mean Kyrie's out?
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say, because there was a lot of discussion being made about how, like, one of the big reasons that Kyrie, like, obviously he wanted to play with Luka, but another big one was that he got to play for his idol, Jason Kidd, right? There was a lot being made about that. Now, again, I don't know the validity of that too much, but it doesn't matter because it's been said. I'm assuming it's somewhat true, right? But I think, it also depends on the circumstance, just it would take a lot for Kidd to get fired. I think just because he earned a lot in last year's run, and just the fact that he's like a Mavs legend and all that, I think the front office will be a little hesitant to like let him go, especially since he's the reason that, or part of the reason that Kyrie decided to come here, or he like was excited about coming here.
I do think Udoka would do a better job than Jason Kidd with his team because he has experience of having 2 stars.
Yeah, I mean, to be
I
fair though,
genuinely think that the Mavs wouldn't have this record right now if they had Ime as a coach over Jason Kidd. Look, he has the experience. He's had Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Robert. Like, he has had tough dudes on that team that they share the ball. And I think,
to be fair, I think in terms of a reputation standpoint, though, I just don't think it would be the best look for the Mavs, to be honest. Just like given how his time ended in Boston and the history the organization has,
someone's going to hire him.
I don't think St. Marshall or Cuban is going to go for it personally. We've had too much drama about that in the last few years. I don't think that would happen, but I do understand what you mean in terms of like an elite head coach taking the reins, just someone who can really. I don't. It just doesn't seem like Kidd is like the thing that's crazy is that if you go back to a year ago, 9 months ago, we were singing Kidd's praises. We were saying how he's incredible. He's rejuvenated the team's defense. You saw him being super active. It's crazy to go back. You saw that clip from I think it was like Game 7 of the Sun series where he's like shouting out like what to do for all the defense, and then now you fast forward to the clip of him saying, "I'm just watching out there." Like it's a night and day difference, right? Well, what's going on? Like it just seems odd to me. And I also think sorry to cut you off, but
you're good. Go ahead.
I did also anticipate that this year, although I did have high expectations once the trade went through, and even before, that it was really going to be next year if we kept this core and like improved the role player. I think that would be our real year because, look, you could tell that the guys aren't meshed together. That most of the players are new. You know, they're playing minutes that they're not used to. The minutes keep adjusting. And it's not, there's no hierarchy in the team. Like all those things, it doesn't come with only like a month left in the season. I don't know if there's enough time to fix all that stuff, especially and having a good enough record to make the playoffs.
If the Mavs lose in the first round or don't even make the playoffs, is Kyrie out?
We don't make the playoffs, yes. If we lose in the first round, it kind of depends. Because look, honestly, I get that Brian Windhorst and all the Lakers stands in the media, they all want us to believe that he's not going to the Lakers. Come on, stop. Why would he go there? And honestly, it just doesn't make sense. Why would he go there? Like, I get LeBron. Okay, whatever. But
he wanted to go to the Lakers. The Nets purposely didn't trade him to the Lakers.
I understand, but if I'm Kyrie, it's a better position for him as a basketball player to stay with us. Even if we don't make the playoffs this year, like our like ceiling is higher than the Lakers right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you have one of the best young talents in the NBA. And LeBron's going to leave the Lakers once Bronny gets drafted.
Bronny to the Mavs. Yeah, but it just doesn't really make sense for Kyrie to leave. We can offer him the most money. It just, in terms of basketball and money, if there's another factor, then maybe. But I just don't see it happening. And I think that we need to use it really, just looking back and just looking at our contracts, because I was looking at that too after the Lakers loss. It really sucks how KP's extension worked out. Because that is one of the main reasons that this team is in the position that they are, strapped financially. And
I think that if Kyrie says that he wants to leave, the Mavs are going to have to pull off a sign and trade because you can't just lose Kyrie for nothing in return.
What do you get though?
The Lakers would give you something. The Lakers would. I mean,
You taking D'Angelo Russell?
I would trade Kyrie Irving and Christian Wood for D'Angelo Russell and AD in a heartbeat.
D'Angelo Russell and who?
AD.
Why would they trade AD? The whole point is to have a big three.
They're not going to be able to pay them all. Unless someone takes a contract cut.
He's making a lot of money. I think they could.
Wherever if Kyrie says he wants out of Dallas, I'm telling you, Nico Harrison and Mark Cuban need to get on the phone and find a trade because you cannot have a Kyrie slip up. And then if Christian, what are we going to do next year if Christian Wood doesn't resign? And we don't have Kyrie or Christian Wood.
Okay, I was actually going to ask you that because.
Do you know how scary that is?
Yeah, that's not great. Look, the problem is that it would have to be through free agency or something because, and we don't have a good track record of that whatsoever. So, yeah, it would have to be a trade or.
And the thing is that this is going to screw us over because if the Mavs don't have a good year and Kyrie leaves, other All-Stars are going to be like, can you not play with Luka? Like, is it hard to be a duo with Luka? And that screws up our future. And a tweet I saw that
also
really
I don't think players will want to come with just Luka. We don't have like our supporting cast, especially with Wood if he leaves, is just not. It's not good enough. It's better now than it was say 2 years ago, but it's not the main thing. Hopefully, best case scenario is that honestly, if Wood leaves or stays, I don't think it's as big of a deal. Obviously, I'd want him to stay, but I think he's much more replaceable than someone like Kyrie. If Kyrie walks, it's an absolute disaster. It's an absolute disaster because.
But we don't have money for free agency.
We will if Wood and Kyrie leave, because Dwight Powell is coming off the books. Bullock, I think, is a free agent. I'm not sure, but
I think Dwight Powell.
I think we're gonna have to do some creative stuff with Bertans, with Timmy, arguably. If people leave in free agency, it's gonna be a new team next year. And I think if we don't, regardless of what happens, unless we do well in the playoffs, I think anyway it might be a new team. Like a lot of these guys are out. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
I think Reggie stays a Maverick.
Yeah, but like look at some of the guys here. You want to pull up our payroll real quick because I think that would help visualize it.
And I think something else that I saw on Twitter that sort of hit me probably less than it should have. But if you look at Kyrie, when he leaves a team, the other players get dragged out too. And I will cry myself to sleep if Luka leaves Dallas because of Kyrie. Because look at his past. It's happened every time other than the Celtics. The stars do not stay there after Kyrie leaves.
All right, here, I'm gonna.
With Harden, it happened with KD.
Here, can I share screen real quick?
Yeah.
It doesn't let me.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Just say it all out. Yeah.
Okay, here. I'm looking at the payroll. Okay, so going into next year, Luka is making $40 million. Tim Hardaway is after this year, he has 2 more years making less money every year, so he'll make around 18 million and then 16 following year. Davis Bertans is going to make 17 million guaranteed next year and then 16 not guaranteed the year after. Wood and Power free agents. Reggie Bullock is making 10 million not guaranteed. Maxi's on 11 million for the next 3 years after this.
Deserved.
JaVale's contract is not looking great. He's making around 6 million for the next 2 years after this one. At 35 years old, barely playing. Josh Green is a restricted free agent expiring after 2024. And then Frank Morris, Pinson are expirings, and then Hardy is expiring 2025, restricted free agent. Or he's a second rounder, maybe he's unrestricted. I don't remember. But I think something has to be done with Bertans' contract because otherwise there's not that much we can do.
Right. I would have traded Bertans for a second rounder at the deadline.
No, but the problem is that why can't the Jazz help us out like they helped out the Lakers? Like, what did they gain from that transaction? Like, I get the Westbrook contract, they get off the books, but like that's the thing about Bertans' contract, it only ends in 2025. Just unreal. He literally doesn't play. I don't know. He's been hurt, I think, a little bit this year, but like, how much has he even played?
Listen, they sub him in every once in a while, and if he's hitting shots, he'll play. I mean, he played a lot in that stretch where Christian Wood was out with that thumb injury.
He's played
But
34 games this year, 10 minutes a game in those games.
So, and Davis Bertans has sometimes played the 5, he sometimes played the 4. The guy's a 3, and he can't play defense for Badonkadonk.
Problem though, we have enough shooters. We have the players that we have shooters. He's shooting 38%, which is honestly at this point that's about like that's not amazing. Like it's good, but it's not amazing.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but like if that's all you provide, then that's not enough.
No, and
especially for 17.
Listen, I just think the Mavs need to get a set rotation in, and stick with that rotation until it needs to be changed via injury or what personal reason or whatever. But you got to go. This is the 8 guys that should be playing every game. You know what? No, not even 8. Luka should be playing his 30 plus. We know that. Kyrie will get his 30 plus. This is where the debates come in. Josh Green should be playing 30 plus games. High 20s, if not.
About 30.
Okay. Reggie Bullock should be at 25.
He's playing a lot of minutes, by the way, recently. He's played like high 30s in some games.
He's a good perimeter defender. Tim Hardaway, I think he's in that. It depends on the night he's having. He could be anywhere from 20 to 30. I think Justin Holiday should be like a 5 to 10 guy. And Maxey should be 25 to 30. Dwight should be 10 to 12. Wood should be mid-20s, low 30s. You know, and then I think every once in a while you throw in JaVale when you're struggling with rebounding and interior defense, which has been happening.
JaVale is not that great of a defender.
But he's a presence. He is a presence.
Also, how many minutes can JaVale even play?
I think you could play JaVale for 8 minutes and he would make a great impact.
But 8 minutes is not going to solve the problem, right? 8 minutes. Are you playing him in the right? We're saying that the problems are in the end stretch of games, right? We're saying that we don't get boards along the game. Like, is JaVale really going to be the answer?
Listen, I said occasionally.
Yeah, I don't. We have, and
who
it's
else?
not like these.
To be honest, I'm not on the Jaden Hardy train like everyone else is. I think he's a great player. I just don't think he's there yet. Like
he's not ready. That's fine. He's what
and I think they're doing the right thing with him, but I think they should send him back to the G League so he can get his repetitions in. I think Frank's going to be beneficial in the playoffs. When a guy's hot, you put Frank on him. We saw that in the Sun series, and it worked out. I think Chris Paul and Devin Booker shot like a combined 2 for 40 when Frank was on him. I mean, that's just absurd.
Yeah, I know we kind of stopped talking about
5%.
Yeah, I know we got off the topic of the future of this team, but I do want to. I noticed this right now. If you look at the ages of our players, so obviously Luka's 24, Hardy's 20, Josh Green 22, and Frank is 24. But okay, other than him, and right, Christian Wood and Pinson are 27. Other than that, you have Tim, he's 30, Bertans 30, Dwight 31, Bullock 31, Maxey 31, JaVale 35, Morris 33, Justin Holiday 33. Like the long-term future of those guys is not very long. This was a problem before too, right? Doe and Dinwiddie aren't getting younger either, right? In fact, the main supporting piece we had that was young besides Josh was Jalen. We had him. He was entering his prime.
Jalen just dropped 32 points and shot 13 for 15 against the Nets.
Actually, okay, I have a question because I was talking about this with a friend. if we re-sign Jalen, right? He's making about 25 million a year right now. I think he's making 27 now, and it goes down over time. If we signed Jalen, and right instead of we kept, like, how do you think we would have done keeping the team from last year compared to what we did now? Right, because obviously we have a lower record right now.
I think the Dallas Mavericks would be a top 3 seed in the NBA if they kept that team.
And the thing that's crazy is that in the summer, there's probably a footage of this on the pod. It was pretty, like, obviously we didn't 100% agree with not re-signing Jalen, but we understood it. But because I talked to a friend and he said that he doesn't think Jalen would be as good as he is. Like, he's playing for New York right now with us. That he wouldn't
Well, that's just because it touches.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it is touches, but, like, I don't know. It's crazy to think that the Knicks have a better record than us.
And by a solid margin.
By a good amount, too, yeah.
And I want to wrap off the pod with this. Our next 10 games are the 76ers. All right, we'll go down the line. We'll go 10 games. All right, 76ers win or loss. We'll go you first.
Win.
I'm going to go I think there's changes made tomorrow. And I think that I'm going to have hope here that Jason Kidd changes up the rotation a little, sees that Dwight cannot guard Joel freaking Embiid. I think Kidd makes changes. I think the Mavs should start running some zone, first of all. But regardless of that, we're going to gut this win out. I will like to say, though, Joel Embiid did not play tonight against the Heat. I don't know if it was like a fake. I mean, the Sixers beat the Heat by like 20 plus just now or something like that. But I don't know if that was rest. I don't know if he was actually hurt and they just listed it as a foot injury so no one gets fined or in trouble or anything. But I'll go with a close, gutted out win if we rebound the ball. So
honestly, I just think the Mavs need it a lot. Like, I know,
we're desperate.
We are desperate. You could see that the players are fed up. If the players are not going all over the floor, just diving for loose ball, like going all out, putting 100%, like, then what are we doing? Like, I don't know. This needs to be an absolute desperation game. Huge game, national television to shut everybody up. This is a huge game.
Okay, so we're both at 1-0. Suns.
Oh.
I'll go with this one. I'm going W. Luka Doncic has a personal vendetta against the Suns every time they play. It is Luka. I don't care about KD. I don't care about Book. Luka Doncic versus the Suns is like varsity versus JV. I'm going with a win. The Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie is going to go federal too. It's against KD. I think they'll go back and forth. I think the Mavs get that win. I think we're at 2-0.
Are those actually the next 2 games? That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. All right. I'm gonna say L for this one.
I think this one will be pretty easy, considering how valuable this game will be because we're around the same seed. Jazz. I'm going W. I don't see the Jazz beating us.
They do have a good off. They've been playing pretty well as of late. I've gone to catch a few of their games, but we should win.
I think so too, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong.
The only thing is, like, how are we going to guard Laurie exactly and Kessler? They have a huge lineup. How are we going to guard that?
Colin Sexton's hurt. Jordan Clarkson's on a day-to-day, so who knows if they're healthy. And then we have back-to-back 2 straight games against the Grizzlies. I think we go 1-1 in there. I think we win 1, lose 1.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, I think, yeah, I agree with that.
The Spurs, I'm going to go with W.
You better win. We better win.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Lakers,
win.
I think
we're going to avenge. Come on. And also, I don't think LeBron will be back.
That's what I was going to say. LeBron is at a 2 to 3 week, and this got announced yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, and that's until he gets reevaluated, I think. So he might be out longer.
He may come back though. Like if they're in playoff contention, he's gonna come back and play. It's LeBron, bro. You know he's going to.
He might just, yeah.
Okay, and then Grizzlies. I think that's a toss up. Depending on our record.
Depends on the Lakers game.
Yeah.
I think if we win, then it'll flip. Like if we win that one, we're gonna lose the other one.
And then Warriors.
Cautious win.
I think Steph is going to be back by then. That's in 10 games.
He is going to be back. They said he's coming back next week. So,
yeah. So I mean, there you go. I think that's also one of those tops up ones. Listen, I think the Mavs could easily go 5-5 in these next 10 games, and I think if they win one of the 2 games against Philly or Phoenix, they're going to go on a streak soon.
I'll say this. Our next 10 games are very difficult, but the following 10, we should win most of them. I think we play the Bulls. We play the Pelicans twice, I think. We play once. We play some teams that we
play
should.
The Hornets twice.
Hornets twice. That should be 2 dubs easily.
We have 2 more games against the Spurs and the Hornets, so that should be
4 wins.
That should be 4 wins. I think the Jazz are a win. See, I feel like the Mavs always struggle against the Bulls.
We do, yeah.
So I don't know about that. And then
maybe we'll get revenge on that. Was like one of the only blowouts we've had this year.
The Hawks is going to be close.
I think we can beat them.
The Heat's going to be close in Miami.
We beat that, didn't we? We destroyed them last time.
We didn't. Yeah, we did destroy them. Yeah, on ESPN. The Kings, I think that'll be a close game.
That's a close game.
And then we play the Sixers and the Pacers again.
I'll say this: if the Mavs don't go far in the playoffs, I'm rooting for the damn Kings, man. I don't know. They're a fun team to watch.
Listen, the thing is that I would not mind. Okay, 6 seed, I would be ecstatic about because I would love to go into 7-game series with the Sacramento Kings. I think we win in 5 or 6.
Okay.
They have no playoff experience, like literally none.
Yeah.
Like unless you consider what's his name, Buddy
Kevin
Hield.
Huerter with the Hawks.
Anyways, back to real people.
Are we getting the Harrison Barnes rematch versus the Mavs?
I wouldn't mind. Listen, the play-in, if we went to the play-in, it would be stressful as hell. Like I would be shaking. Like I would be very nervous. But
especially since those teams are good teams in the play-in.
Yeah. If we're in the 7-8 game and we win, I would put my life savings that we beat the Grizzlies. I just who knows if John's going to be in the NBA by then.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't want to get into that Jaw stuff. It's crazy.
We'll wait for that to develop and then we can.
Yeah, wait for it to develop. But I mean, listen, regardless of the story, it's just stupid stuff you shouldn't be doing.
At the end of the day, the West is wide open. I think this is a year where a lower seed could really do some damage. I do think the Nuggets should be the favorites, and the Suns, those are the 2 teams to beat. But other than that, it's a toss-up.
That's why
the Warriors as a lower seed are really good.
Yeah.
The Clippers are great. You don't want to face either of those teams.
That's why I don't want to be a 4 or 5 seed. I really want to be the 6 or 7.
Yeah, we keep having that problem in the past, right? Where we keep facing the Clippers, right?
Well, we've been the 4 or 5 seed the last 3 years.
2, because in the bubble we were.
Were we the 6?
We were the 7 seed.
Oh, we were the 7 seed against the Clippers. So I mean, like, it's just we get really hard first round matchups.
It's the West. It's the West. It's tough. I mean, hey, the NBA is at a level where like the top tier of teams, it's close. It's very close. If you look at besides the tanking teams, like the 6th worst record in the league is not that far from 500.
Yeah, and
they're like the best teams. I don't think there's gonna be any teams that win over 60 games, or it'll be really close. Because I think there's the There's no teams in the West that will. I don't think. I think maybe the
And
Nuggets are close.
Nuggets have the best record in the NBA. I think they have like.
Yeah, but they already have like 17 L's. Like
That's
they
what I don't think anyone. Yeah. The best record. The Bucks could get. The Bucks are on a 15-game winning streak.
yeah, they're incredible, man.
Uh,
That's a scary team, and that's
especially
with Middleton not even doing that
because
good.
they really don't need Giannis to win.
Imagine
Like
if the Mavs were like that. What if we
they
did
were.
it
They were
for
We
3
went on a win.
games?
We
For
went on
3
a-
games.
First of all, we beat the Jazz with no Luca.
Okay, that was a
no
one-off.
Dinwiddie.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but that was a
Okay,
one-off.
okay, and then we beat the Clippers, no Luca, and then we beat the Kings, no Luca.
Okay, that's 3 games.
The Mavs are a better team with fast pace, but I got shamed for that on Twitter when I tweeted that. I got shamed.
The problem with that is that we can't defend, so then it just kind of opens us up.
Yeah, and I think the Mavs are just a more successful team when Josh Green plays heavy minutes.
Play Josh. We're on the Josh hype train. Let him play, kid. Let him play.
Do you think the Mavs actually shoot their shot at Nerlens Noel or Stanley Johnson?
I kind of hope we go for a center, but like who's getting dropped? Who's getting cut?
I think it would probably be Frank or. I mean, I think they would hate to see Theo go, but at the end of the day, it's business. Like I would be upset if Theo left. Like he's just like he's one of those guys that like keeps your team together. And
He's like the last locker room guy we have left.
Yeah,
Him
he's
and,
like
well, we have a few more. But.
those guys that just like doesn't care about personal success. He just wants them to win, and that's one of the things. Like, first of all, Theo Pinson can hoop.
He's had some moments this year.
He's a bucket, but more importantly, he's one of those guys in the locker room that just wants to get the W. He doesn't care as much about personal performance as much as team performance, and that's something that you really like to see and have on your team. So I would hate to see Theo go, but it could happen.
I think the fact that we already had Noel and it didn't really work out too well. Like I know he's a different player than the back
already
then.
had Javel.
It's true. It's a different era. I don't. Maybe. We do need who?
Both of them were different eras.
Yeah.
I don't think we need Stanley Johnson. I don't think the three.
No, we got Holiday. We don't need him. But
yeah. No, I heard quote unquote rumors or whatever you want to call it, but I think Noel should be.
Hey, Dragic?
No.
He got cut for Luka?
Bro, we've talked about Goran Dragic for 2.5 years. It's just not gonna happen.
Where's he going?
You remember what they told them in the offseason? Dragic came out and
he's not
said
gonna play. He didn't play for the Bulls, did he?
Minorly.
I'm just saying.
He cooked the Mavs. But like they told him basically he'd have a Boban role. And it's just like I really wish we got Bogdanovich, by the way.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Did he end up getting traded or not? Yeah, he's a bucket.
Yeah, I mean that would just be another defensive liability, though.
Yeah. See,
he's slowish.
Hey, every time we plug one issue, another one arises. Right. First it's the defense. Once we fix the defense, there's no offense around Luka. Once we fix the offense around Luka, there's no defense again. We just need that balance.
I just wish the Mavs would have made a big man trade at the deadline. I think they could have gone something decent for Wood. I think that they could have traded like a package with Dwight and Tim for someone solid. Yeah, listen, the NBA is filled with talent and big talent. Dwight Powell's 6'10". Like you can't have a 6'10" starter going up against Aiden or Sabonis.
He's not physical enough. Like he just can't. Like
you know who I would have loved? I would have loved Naz Reid.
He's been hooping for the Timberwolves when he's gone to play.
Yeah, but it was a good podcast. I think the fans are going to be excited about this one, hopefully, and I think we covered a lot of content.
I'll say this: hopefully, the next time we get on here, we're a little bit happier.
We're a little bit happier. Yeah, that's the hope. I mean, listen, there's been highs and lows of the season. We've been the 3 or 4 seed at some points, and hell, we've been the 10 seed at some points. We've just had a lot of inconsistency, and I blame
It's been a
most of
lot.
it.
It's been a rotating door of players too.
Yeah, and I think J Kidd has to just communicate with the assistant coaches, because I think Sweeney does a lot for us too, and defense needs to get better. And I think just the overall rotations, Josh Green's got to play more. He's got
Okay,
to.
before we leave, I'm gonna go on a small rant because I know this is a Mavs pod, but this does connect because it's a former Mavs head coach, but the Rockets, man, they're a disgrace to basketball. And Steven Silas is my guy. I don't know if it's him, but they have one good player on that team, and that is Şengün. Everybody else is an absolute scrub, or they aren't getting taught how to play the game.
Boban's elite.
Boban's incredible. Of course.
Yeah. They're only good players in game. You don't like Jalen Green?
Have you seen the man play? Like I'm just saying, he's a disgrace to watch. Kevin Porter Jr. I'm not saying they're not good basketball players, but I hate watching them play. Jabari Smith Jr. is the reincarnation of Marcus Aldridge without the talent. So yeah, because I went to the Rockets Mavs game earlier this year, and
I think they have like that Tari Eason dude, that rookie.
He's good. Yeah. Again, they have talent, but there's no. I don't know how they're going to develop those players in that culture, and they're just terrible. Hopefully, we won't have to worry about that though. And
let's just hope. Listen, I think I wouldn't be mad, to be honest with you, if the Mavs went 5-5 in this next 10-game stretch.
So our record would be what, 37-36?
Yeah.
So you think our records would be around 500?
I mean, man, listen. Let's say they go 1-1, like with the Sixers and Suns, okay? And then Jazz 2-1. Okay, Pelicans. I think we beat the Pelicans. So let's go 3-1.
It depends when Zion is back, but yeah, we should.
Zion's out for a while.
No, there's news about him next week. We'll see.
Listen, they said one day ago is making good progress and will undergo an MRI next week. The Mavs play him in 1 week, so he's not playing.
Okay, so yeah, he's not gonna play. All right.
Okay, so we're at 3.
Yeah, they've actually been one of the worst teams in the league without him. So
well, that doesn't mean anything to the Mavericks. We just lost 2 straight.
Yeah,
games.
no, I'm saying we need to win. I'm aware, but look, at the end of the day, we need to win. We need to beat these teams.
So 3-1, okay. Let's say we go 1-1 with the Grizzlies in that back-to-back. So we're 4-2. Spurs 5-2.
Hornets.
Lakers. No, we don't play Hornets till after a 10-game stretch. Those are our next. Okay, so Lakers. You want to say 6-2?
Yeah, I would say no LeBron, right?
Yeah, and then Grizzlies again.
I'll say L, but who knows?
And then the Warriors. So we could see a 6-4.
6-4, yeah.
We could see a 6-4, or we could see a 3-7, or 4-6.
10-0.
Hell, you could see an 8-2. Honestly, you really could. I don't think we beat the Grizzlies all 3 games. I think we lose at least 1. I think we win 1.
Look, we have the players. The potential's all there. Just put it together. That's it. It's not that hard. Maybe it is that hard, but yeah. We have quality, man. I'm still excited about this team, even if we're the 8 seed and we're playing the Nuggets in the first round. I think we can beat any team in the league. So it is what it is. Especially come playoff time, I think the defense is not going to be as big of an issue. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more acclimated to each other by then. Kyrie and Luka will figure their clutch stuff out, and we'll just be hooping. We have a lot of good players. A lot of the role players have been pretty solid recently. I'd say Holiday's been solid. I'd say Timmy he was playing terribly before the trade deadline. Now he's playing a little bit better. Wood has his moments. Just got to put it together.
We'll see. Sorry, I just got a really funny tweet. The Rockets or the Bulls were playing the Pistons, and the Pistons were down by 2 with 9 seconds left, and they were inbounding it on the side. And Jay Ivey didn't have anyone open, and he called a timeout, and they realized they had no timeouts left. So they got a tech on that. But, yeah, no, I mean, I heard everything.
That's why you don't play Jaden Hardy? No, I'm kidding.
Jaden Ivey.
No, I know, but like in terms of rookies, this is what I'm saying. Like rookie mistake.
Yeah, but hopefully the Mavs get fixed. I'd say the goal for our next podcast, let's say we do next podcast sooner than later, I'd say the goal is to be at least 2 games above 500.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's the goal. And guys, we'll probably have like 2 more podcasts in the regular season. We'll probably do a regular season wrap up and one in the middle the next week or 2. So be on the lookout for that. But as always, my man Amir, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Appreciate it.
MFFL Nation. It's been a pleasure. And we are out.
Go Mavs.
Go Mavs.